Berkeley. TGIF, and nothing makes Friday better than a Bassmaster Elite Series Friday. This is the 8th one of the 2021 season, and we are in beautiful Plattsburgh, New York. But look out. On top of the leaderboard, once again, Jeff Gustafson, the second Canadian ever to win a Bassmaster Elite Series event, trying to become the first Canadian to win 2 Elite Series events. And look behind him once again, Chris Zaldain charging. Is it finally time for Zaldain to put his hands on that Elite Series title? Beautiful Plattsburgh, New York shows out every single time we come here. And this is just the first of 2 stops in the great state of New York. We'll start here, of course, on beautiful Lake Champlain. And then after this, we'll shift gears up the highway and head to Waddington, New York, and fish the St. Lawrence River. But Lake Champlain, our playing field, and a famous lake worldwide for just being an incredible smallmouth and largemouth lake. And Davey Height, my partner in crime, Bassmaster Classic champion, that truly showed out in weigh-in yesterday. I mean, the amount of mixed bags and the amount of anglers that said, hey man, I fished for largemouth for a while and made a switch to smallmouth, vice versa. That really is the question. What's it going to take this time around? Is it going to be one of 3 options? Largemouth going to win this, smallmouth going to win this, or are we going to see a mixed bag win this tournament?
I really think it'll be a mixed bag, Dave, because the fishing is just so great. We saw a lot of good fish catches yesterday here, and we expected to see that, but it amazed me yesterday at weigh-in because for some reason as a fisherman, I would always, if you had a bad practice, you would talk yourself into, well, you know, it's just a little off this year. It's postponed. The fish are smaller, but it did not show that yesterday at weigh-in. Absolutely incredible how the weights went down the line. You know, 18 pounds I thought would have been top 10 for sure yesterday. It certainly was not. It was, 20-something, almost down to 30th place.
You could see our anglers' reaction on the stage. They were shocked at how well they caught him, but a guy that you should not be shocked about. I mean, in his 3rd Elite Series event, he won an Elite Series title. And let's kick off our Toyota Midday Report with him. Buddy Gross, unbelievable start to this tournament, and he is your tournament leader. Should this shock me, Davey Height?
Well, it would, maybe you, and it would have shocked me, but I happened to talk to Buddy Gross yesterday morning on the dock, and he felt really confident about what he had done in practice. He said the first morning of practice I had 20 pounds in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but the sun was out, so I'm a little concerned. But boy, he had no reason to be concerned. He caught 21-13 yesterday and was our day 1 leader. But it's really shocking to me today that he struggled as much. He said, I didn't fish but just a fraction of the places that I've got that I feel comfortable with, some largemouth and some smallmouth. But he has just not had the bites today. He lost 1 or 2 fish, but he has just not had many bites today.
Let's have a look at Randy Pearson, a former Bass Nation national champion, and had the folks at the Chicken Ranch Casino cheering for him yesterday in a big way.
So I guess it shouldn't be surprising. He's a clear water specialist, catching a mixture of largemouth and smallmouth. But watching Randy Pearson today, I'm so surprised. He's catching a lot of his fish under boat docks. And with these cloudy conditions, he's another angler said, if the sun will come out, I think I can do better. Well, he's doing pretty dang good right now with the clouds out, fishing boat docks, going back and forth, just finessing, using a Senko some, and then I think he switched up to a trick worm to just give it a little different look. But most of his fish early on that Senko. But it's amazing to me he's fishing primarily boat docks under these cloudy conditions. I'm sure it would surprise a lot of these other anglers also.
Be very interesting to see how that pattern continues to either improve or hold out as the conditions match him. But this is my guy right here. I mean, people pick guys, but this is the Schmidt. And I'm going to tell you, the only time I remember him ever being out of the top 10 at a Champlain event was literally at our event last year. Can he win this event? I mean, I'm telling you, this guy's incredible.
He really is, and he's got a lot of confidence. Yesterday afternoon, or right after he came off the weigh-in stage with you there, Dave, I was able to talk with him along with some of the other riders, but I was just listening in basically. He's got a very calm demeanor, talking slow, but very confident about Lake Champlain. And I could just see the confidence, and I said, how many tournaments have you fished here? Because I know he won an Open last year, and he's had some other success there. He said about 10. He said, but I've probably spent 20 or 30 other days, just fun fishing days here on Lake Champlain. So I have a lot of experience here fishing offshore. Another one of those anglers said, I need to catch a combination of largemouth and smallmouth.
Some people go to the fish. Yesterday on the stage, we found out The smallmouth, they just come to Takumi Ito. He puts the trolling motor down, and they come to him, and with the way this tournament's going, you can't really argue.
Yeah, if you weren't tuned in to Dave Mercer on the weigh-in stage yesterday with Taku, he literally said, I put the trolling motor down and the smallmouth come to me. Obviously, he was joking, but it seems like that if you're one of the other anglers that struggled yesterday and you found out that Takumi caught like 25 or 30 smallmouth bass yesterday. He said, I'm fishing currents. You can see right here, this particular smallmouth was at a blow through, but he's concentrating on current. Obviously, this is a place where you're going to have some current. The wind direction pushes current through there. These places, what's so impressive about Takumi is there are a lot of other anglers fishing these exact places and not catching nearly as many fish as he is.
The hometown hero from Fort Worth had a crushing finish at the Classic, but there is no better way to recover from that than just go win an Elite Series this week.
Absolutely, and watching Chris Zaldain on live today, he is catching a lot of fish. He's in a big flat area there where the not a lot of contour features. You see so many of these other anglers fishing rock piles and isolated, just hard places on the bottom. But what Chris Zaldain is doing, he's really focusing on the bait. These fish, when they're post-spawn, a lot of times they don't go out and just set up on some piece of structure. They'll roam and they'll chase these bait fish and these perch, and that's exactly what Chris Zaldain is doing. The big thing that'll happen to you when you're doing this is these fish will leave an area, but he's using the birds and his electronics to stay with the bait, and he's also staying with the smallmouth bass.
Chris Zaldain, always a threat, hot off some Texas events where everybody talked about him, and now up here, this is the other area. He really is a very diverse angler. You look at him geographically, where he catches them, but these next two events are ones where you got to say Zaldain's got a legit shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned the Classic being there at his hometown. He was so disappointed. But he's very versatile, no doubt about it. But he loves to fish offshore. And that Classic being in June, everyone thought it'd be an offshore tournament. I think maybe Chris Zaldain tried a little too hard to make it be an offshore tournament, where so many of those fish we saw caught, the majority of them were caught in the buckbrush and the willow trees. But this, like you said, Dave, this would be a great way to get over that Classic, to have a win here.
Yeah, so we're sitting on just a slightly better than average bag. I think we've got probably 18 or so. And all the fish up here they seem like they're slightly better than average. And right now, since my birds are gone, and I figured that would happen, it's about the first 2.5 hours of the morning. That alewife spawn goes on, and the birds are chasing, the smallmouth are chasing. And now I'm just kind of picking off I got single waypoints through here. Like some are rock piles, and they're small, like the size of your boat, or like a little point off a hump. Or in this case right here, it's a real nice, I think it's a cabbage patch, or like a milfoil patch the size of my boat. And this is where I caught that one near 5 yesterday. And once they're done kind of chasing the bait and roaming around out in the middle, if the sun if it starts getting lighter or the wind changes, and then they really start to stick to this cover here. And I'm just checking out this Mega Live here, and I'm seeing them higher in the water column. And that's just an indication of them still chasing bait around. And they're just kind of looking up and kind of feeding up on those alewives. But every time I look down and I see one on my 2D sonar, I'm going to drop down to it, because that's how you catch big ones. No matter what smallmouth lake you're on. There's another guy on like one of my best spots, and I had this all to myself yesterday, and I don't know how he found the exact spot. I think my birds gave it away. I really do, because they were dive bombing there earlier this morning, and we caught 3 of our fish right there in the morning. But I got plenty in this area, and I truly believe this is a game-winning area. This will hold up for 4 days. Even if the sun pops out, there's like just rocks and weeds and stuff. But the main thing is that forage, and it's those big alewives. That one that spoonfish that spit up that 3.5, 4 incher, that's a small one. I was watching birds, cormorants, like push like literal like 6 and 7 inch alewives, and I was watching them gobble them down, and it looks exactly like that big swingfish right there, or that big spoon.
Come on, be good. Oh yeah, big largemouth. Yes! Yes! Man, that was a bite, you big gnarly thing. Man, patience, patience, patience. Look at the face on it. Okay. We just got to keep ticking away at them. It's just, it sucks when it all doesn't happen like you think it's going to happen. You just got to keep your head in the game, fish nice and slow. It's just a little bit tougher because of how dark it is. Not quite 3.5. Pretty good one. Oh, it's number 5 anyway. Keep an eye on those guys. Doing good. Okay.
That
We
a
got 5.
big
We gotta
fish
get-
for Carl Jacobson. As he said, that fills out his limit. A big bite there for Carl Jacobson. But let's have a look at his day. And as he said, he's just put his limit together at this point, Davey. But, I mean,
Better be.
he's had to adjust, obviously.
He has. He's moved around a lot and had a much slower start than he wanted. But I think it was when he caught his third, maybe fourth fish about 20 or 30 minutes ago. He said, "I'm just now getting to my good stuff," which is surprising to me. That's, you know, he had a lot of patience to fish some other areas and not get to his better places offshore. He's fishing a lot of rock piles and some points, a little bit of contour change, but a lot of rock piles for Carl Jacobson. And for him to wait later in the day tells me certainly that he just thinks it's a better bite later in the day when those fish get on those rock piles and stop roaming around like a lot of the fish that Chris Zaldain is catching. Those fish are roaming, following that bait, and later on after that spawn stops, those fish set up on these rock piles better for Carl. So hopefully he has a lot better, fishing
got two
ahead.
Of the right ones. We got 2 3.5 pound largemouth and 3 very small smallmouth. And I've lost a big smallmouth. I've missed a couple opportunities. Sort of none of my game plan has gone to plan. Like yesterday, it's a lot tougher to get bites. Just wind direction, dark conditions. I just got to make a couple of good adjustments, but I got 2, so in the next 5 hours I got to get 3 of the right bites, 3.5 to 4.5 pound bites. And so I just got to keep moving and adjusting, but I'm in some really good areas and I've got my best areas yet to fish. We're going to be, right now we're in the inland sea and we're going to be all the way over in Rouse's in the next hour or so. But I just don't want to hit my best smallmouth stuff until it gets lighter out. As the afternoon gets going, the sun's going to come up and the day's just going to get brighter, and that's just going to make the smallmouth fishing better. But felt good to get another good largemouth bite. Keep it rolling. Send those big fish vibes, Australia. I need them today. I need 3 good ones today.
Carl Jacobson hoping for the big fish vibes from Australia. I mean, he's got, like he said, 2 of the right ones. And when you think about it, the hours left in the day, I mean, a lot of time left, especially on this body of water.
Oh, absolutely. The thing that Carl's doing, he wants that sunlight because he's fishing around this structure. Chris Zaldain, he's going to be a handful in this tournament because he's fishing for these fish, not just waiting for them to get around the structure. He's fishing for them when they're roaming, and he's catching a lot of them. But then I heard him say earlier, if the sun comes out, I know those fish are going to gravitate to those structures, to those grass clumps, and that sort of thing. So Chris is adjusting with what the fish are doing.
An absolutely incredible tournament so far. Literally only one angler did not have a limit yesterday, showing how incredible this place is. And when you look at those weights and you look at that leaderboard, just say this to yourself. Every one of our anglers talks about how less than ideal the conditions have been up to this point. If they get right this weekend, it could be absolutely bananas. We'll be right back with the Guaranteed Rate Bassmaster Elite at beautiful Lake Champlain in Plattsburgh, New York.
The Yamaha VMAX V6 SHO continues to deliver the level of performance that pro bass and multi-species anglers demand. Underneath a bold and aggressive new look, an upgraded charging system with 40%